academics, all other people that are essential for the smooth running of the schools to work safely to deliver learning to our children. Remember that education is the key to the development of the human mind. If we joke with our educational institutions, it means that the future generation will be jeopardized. Their future will be jeopardized. So the global community is not resting in their hands to ensure that our children will learn in a very conducive atmosphere. When they come to school, they should be safe. Their teachers should be safe. People who are helping the teachers in one way or the other should be safe. And the school structures should not be tampered with. These are more are the interests of stakeholders in the education sector so that our youth will continue to learn in an atmosphere that will help them to realize their potentials. But when otherwise is the case, they will not want to come to school. If you go to some northern parts of Nigeria, some schools have been under lock and key for months, even some up to years, if you like, because the schools are no longer safe. And this abduction did not end with the abduction of people girls, for your information. But theirs was the main abduction that caused a lot of stir in Nigeria. So, this is the 10th anniversary of that sad incident, that sad part of our history. So, we want to talk about it, want to learn how we can keep our educational institutions safe, how our children will remain safe when they are studying. Okay, so I want to invite Professor Ifeoma Dunu to give us the opening remarks for this summit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Njideka. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am so happy today. You see, my happiness is not just because this is a successful event, but because this is a memorable event. Today, we are here to especially remember, to commemorate the abduction that happened 10 years ago. The abduction that changed the terrain of the university education. The abduction that caused anxiety. Today, we gather here as partners and stakeholders. For our students, we are partners in this. UNICEF is a partner. The university, the media, the government, we are partners. Why do we say we are partners? Because we are talking about safety. We are talking about security in our school environment. We are talking about creating security for our students. You will agree with me that if you are sleeping as a student in your hostel with one eye closed, if you're sleeping and you're not sure that you will wake up in the morning in that bed, you will not sleep well. You will not rest. Neither will you have the state of mind that will allow you to read and concentrate. When you go to classes, the freedom you are supposed to have as a student will no longer be there. You will be filled with apprehension, you will be filled with anxiety. That is why today we remember that on that fateful day, on 14th April 2014, Nigeria woke up to the news of the mass abduction of 276 female students from the government secondary school in the town of Chibok in Borno State. This tragic event, this tragic event sparked global outrage and led to widespread calls for the rescue of these girls. Many of them have been rescued, some are still missing. But we are celebrating that 10th anniversary, we are remembering that awful incident brought attention to the security challenges facing students, particularly students in conflict-affected areas, and highlighted the urgent need for measures to protect vulnerable populations, especially our young girls. That is why today, UNICEF, in partnership with other stakeholders, is commemorating the 10th anniversary of this strategic event. And UNIZIK94.1FM University was selected in Southeast for this partnership. Why are we here? That is the question. Why are we doing this anniversary? We are doing this anniversary first because records have shown that since that awful incident in 2014, 1,496 children have been abducted. There are up to 26 abductions of students in Nigeria. Abduction of students and kidnapping seems to be gaining ground, to becoming a trend, to becoming a norm. So we need to understand that making the school safe is a prerogative for all of us. It is not just a prerogative for the government. It is not just a prerogative for the school management, but it is also a prerogative of us, the students, the caregivers, the parents that look after the children. In this regard, we say we need to come together. We need to come together to listen to our experts, to lend our voices on how to create safe spaces for the schools. We come together so that as students, we will contribute our own ideas. What do you think we will do to make the university, the school environment, safe for us? What do you think that government, school management is not doing well? What do you think are the challenges? Thank God that we have a plethora of experts that will talk to us concerning this very urgent and crucial topic. We have the university CSO, the Chief Security Officer, that will talk to us about safety tips. He is going to discuss with us the tips that we should learn as students so that we will be secure in our school spaces. We have the Dean of the university, the Dean of Student Affairs, that are in charge of looking after all of us students here. He will also speak to us. We also have Professor Ukweze that will look at the strategies that the university, that the government may adopt, that may help to promote security and ensure safety for our school environment. The UNICEF person is here also to take it in and also carry our message to UNICEF headquarters, so that our aim at the end of the day, after this interactive session, one is that our voices will be heard. We will speak out in unison on how to create safe spaces for our students, safe spaces for our schools. Our aim is that for education to progress, for education to develop, the schools must be what? Safe. So all the questions you need to ask, all the challenges that you face, please don't feel shy. Just raise your hand during the panel discussion. You will have ample opportunity to discuss freely, and at the end of the day, we will now put them together in form of a communique to help ensure safe space for our students. I say welcome to UNICEF. Welcome to this partnership with UNIZIK94.1FM. I also welcome the member of the media here present, and I hope that this will be a fruitful deliberation that will ensure better security for our students and for our university environment. Thank you very much.
Please, we can do better than that. table the dean that does
Ordinary
he
things.
does ordinary things in extraordinary ways. The dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Francois Okado. Please come to the right table. I also want to invite to the high table one of our resource persons that has just arrived. He is no other person than Professor Cornelius Ukwese, the Deputy Director to UNICEF. Please come to the high table, sir. The former HOD, Department of Mass Communication. Okay. Please, if you look at your program, we also have somebody here that would like to recognize in a very special way. Professor Luis Godukoli from the Department of Marketing. Prof, you're welcome. You're welcome. If you look at your program, we've just had the welcome remarks. The essence was to establish the objectives of the summit from Professor Ifoma Jr. And because this event is being organized in partnership with UNICEF, we would also like to hear from the UNICEF rep in our midst. Please. Mr. Kumpa. Please. We will also want to recognize the presence of the students from high school. Yes. Please, can you stand up for recognition of students from high school? University High School, can you stand up? Thank you so much. You are welcome. Okay. Please, we're inviting the UNICEF rep to please come and talk to us, make your brief remarks, for us to have a better understanding of why we are here, especially why UNICEF is eager to ensure that we have safe spaces for our learners.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate all who are in attendance while standing on the existing protocols already established. My interest is so much on the students. I bring you greetings from UNICEF Enugu office. UNICEF is so much interested in what is happening today. I want to appreciate so much, still standing on the existing protocols, the presence of the Dean, Student Affairs. I will tell us in a short while why his presence is very important. I also want to appreciate the presence of the Chief Security Officer of UNIZIK. These two, alongside others who are seated on the high table and in your midst, are critical stakeholders in the event of today. Let me also appreciate UNIZIK to have been selected to represent Southeast in this 10th year commemoration of the abduction of school girls from Chibok Secondary School. Do you know why UNIZIK was selected? Have you wondered why is it UNIZIK? From all the 5 Southeast states and all the universities in the Southeast states of this country. Let me tell you why. Nnamdi Azikiwe University has mainstreamed child rights in their curriculum. UNICEF partnered with Nnamdi Azikiwe University in carrying out that mainstreaming. And Among other universities who carried out that mainstreaming, I want to confidently tell you that UNIZIK performed satisfactorily. So because of that, UNIZIK was selected in the Southeast to be the school that UNICEF will partner with in this 10th year mark of the Chibok abductions. So UNICEF urges actions to secure children's education in Nigeria. That is why we say the CSO is here and the Dean Student Affairs. When the MC was introducing the Dean Student Affairs, she introduced him as the one who is always talking about your matter. Is it not true? And the students concurred. You were in agreement with the MC. So I want to give you this message from UNICEF. There is a report that UNICEF carried out. UNICEF carried out the research, and the report shows that 37% of schools across 10 states have early warning systems in place, early warning signs in place to identify threats such as school attacks. So 37% of schools have the early warning signs. They see it coming. And when you see it coming, as students, the first port of call should be either the Dean Student Affairs or the CSO, because it borders on security. Granted, in the northeast region of this country, there are more abductions that we see in the southeast. But why are we concerned? As Nigeria marks the 10 years since the mass Chibok abduction in the northeast, 90 girls remain in captivity, and the country is recovering from another abduction of school children in Kaduna State in March of this year. UNICEF is calling for intensified efforts to protect the country's most vulnerable population, that is the children. So UNICEF is calling on intensified effort to protect you, the children that are seated here, because your education is of paramount importance to the country, and also UNICEF is partnering with this. UNICEF release today shows that the minimum standard for safe school, what is called MSSS, report reviewed a stark reality, the journey towards ensuring every Nigerian child can learn in a safe environment, that the journey is far from reality. And it borders on UNICEF. It borders us in UNICEF. It borders the federal government of Nigeria, that the school environment is not safe for our children. The threat of abduction of students severely affecting children's learning. As of 2021, over 1 million children were afraid of returning to school. And in 2020, around 11,500 schools were closed due to attacks, according to Policy Weekly of the news magazine. So you can see such statistics are not encouraging. And UNICEF is not sleeping while having these statistics on the table. So what is the aim of UNICEF partnering with you? UNICEF Nigeria is calling for the government and partners and the international community to take actions as these. 1, ensure that all schools across the state have the resources and tools to fully implement the minimum standard for safe schools, focusing on the most vulnerable regions. 2, UNICEF is calling on address to critical gaps in safe school infrastructure, preparedness for natural disaster, conflicts, and comprehensive approaches violence against children. And thirdly, UNICEF is calling to strengthen laws enforcing the security measures to protect education, institutions, and communities from attacks and abduction. So you can see that children is at the center of this commemoration. We are not just commemorating for celebration's sake. We are not just commemorating to gather and watch events and listen to speeches, but rather we are commemorating for action. And the action is towards the safety of school children in any part of this country. So what are we saying in conclusion? As we remember the Chibok girls and all children whose rights of education have been compromised, let this sober anniversary serve as a catalyst for change. However, we must acknowledge the recent abductions which underscore the persistent vulnerability of our schools. To ensure that schools are safe, havens, strong political will and proper implementation of safe school standards are essential. Together, we can restore trust between educational institutions and the communities. They serve as ensuring that schools and environments are safe havens for children to thrive. So we thank you all for being part of this. We also thank the Nnamdi Azikiwe University for arranging this. So children, be assured that UNICEF will continue to partner with your schools to ensure your safety so that your safety will be guaranteed in your learning environment.
All right, please, let's just put our hands together once again for the UNICEF rep, Mr. Okezie Mha. I picked something from his speech today, that we are not commemorating the 10th anniversary of the Chibok girls just to listen to area professors and scholars speak English, that we are commemorating for action. They want some action, specific action to be taken to ensure that the learning environment of our children are safe. Is that not noble enough? Are you friends not happy that the stakeholders are thinking about you? Now, which actions? What do we expect from the critical stakeholders in education? What do we expect from the government? What do we expect from the society, traditional rulers, government at all levels? Because we won't be talking about federal government alone. We are talking about government at the federal, state, and local. What do we expect from them to ensure that our children are studying in a very conducive environment? And to know what we should do, we would like to call on the Dean, Student Affairs of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Professor Chinonso Achebe, to talk to us on the importance of safety in our schools. We expect that he will set the stage for this summit. Prof, please.
Thank you. MC. The director of UNIZIK94.1FM, Professor Ipamadino, and a team of hard-working people, Deputy Director and Manager. Thank you. The Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, my own dear friend, Professor Frank Collins, the Dean that does ordinary things in extraordinary ways. I learned it the other time we were here. And the duty done so. Thank you. The Chief Safety Officer of the university, Chief Ken Kipura. the UNICEF rep, Mr. Okezie, thank you for choosing UNIZIK alongside your people at UNICEF to be the pivot for this celebration. May I beg to stand on the existing protocols? I've been asked to talk on the importance of safety in our schools. The importance of safety in our schools. I want to start by making a few definitions. What is safety? Safety is the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. It is the state of being safe. It is freedom from occurrence of risks of injury, danger, and losses. So when we talk safety, we are talking about a state of no availability of such things as will endanger lives, endanger the peace of the environment, and bring about risks that can affect the conviviality that exists in any community environment. Safety is essential. That is why Nnamdi Azikiwe University has a safety department. And here we have the chief of that safety department. You know, some people call him Chief Security Officer. It's not Chief Security Officer, please. He is the Chief Safety Officer. Security is only one portion of safety. Safety is larger than just security. So his duty goes way beyond security issues. It is safety. So when we talk safety, we are mindful of the fact that we can do little or nothing if safety is not guaranteed. For example, while we are relaxed here now, and adrenaline is not running, haywire, it's because we feel safe. We are relaxed because we don't envisage any impending danger. If there is any such situation prevalent here now, nobody will be at rest. People will want to run away from this environment. And perhaps in such an instance, create a lot more risk factors because there will be a stampede. People may lose some limbs, others may die. So, safety is paramount. There are safety rules. I know when the CSO comes up, he's going to tell us more about the safety rules. I don't want to go to the nitty-gritties of that. When it comes up, he will tell us more about the safety rules in the university, in the school, university particular now, our own university. That every school has rules bordering on safety. And these are principles or regulations governing actions, procedures, or devices intended to lower the occurrence of risk of injury, loss, and danger to persons, property, or the environment. In engineering, we talk safety a lot. And I have taught workshop practices and processes since 2002. And part of what we deal with is safety. We know that if you don't take recourse to safety, you endanger not only your life, but the lives of others around you. And that is why we have safety rules about the use of workshop. You don't come into the workshop wearing ties. You're about to be strangulated. Because one of the moving parts of the machines will engage you sooner or later. So if you're going into the workshop, you must be properly dressed. You have what we call overall or coverall. You don't wear loose dresses. Your loose hair must be packed and up in. You don't wear pendants, things that are hanging, your earrings or necklaces or such things. So there are always rules bordering on safety. And you don't fool around in the workshop either. You don't run about. In fact, where I did my IT as a university undergraduate, we lost one white man, a supervisor in the company. Why? Safety rules were breached. Somebody spilled some starch on the floor. So when one of the machines began to malfunction, misbehave, he was rushing to go and handle it, and he slipped. And part of what we teach in safety is that you don't leave slipping objects or tripping objects on gangways. Walkways should be clean, clear. People who walk without any danger. So he slipped and fell. Rose up quickly again, slipped a second time, and then landed his head on one of the machines. That was it. Before any help would come, he had passed on. And then, according to the tradition of the people, they had to make an incinerator. It was the department, the engineering department, had to prepare an incinerator. And then it was incinerated. They took some of the ash from the bone, put in the bottle and set up to his family. And that was it. So it's important that we obey safety rules. Are we together? Yes. Whatever would endanger our lives, our welfare, our health, all these things we must take note of. Having said that, let me talk of safety in our schools, because safety goes beyond being abducted. Abduction is only part of the repercussions of lack of safety. Are we together? And today we're talking about the Chibok girls who some 10 years ago were abducted from school, and abductions have continued. In fact, last week, one of our students was abducted. But she wasn't in school. She traveled. Are we together? On the road there, they met some abductors, and she became a victim. And that is why we will also be very careful where we go. It's all part of safety rules. Be careful where you do what? Where you go. Be careful whom you relate with. Be careful of appointments you keep. But you would you'll be surprised to note what some of our students do. I was counseling with one of them the other day, and I just had this premonition to ask him, where is it that you're planning to go now? And you won't believe. Somebody had bought a return ticket for him to come to Abuja. And I asked him, who is this person? How much do you know him? He said, we just met on Facebook. And he invited me to Abuja. I bought a return ticket. We were talking on Tuesday. He was meant to travel on Thursday. I said, this journey cancelled. You're blind. So we come the ticket again. Later on, I learned that another person invited him to Asaba. He went to Asaba. When he got to Asaba, they picked him on a bike. And where he found himself was in the bush, where uncompleted buildings were. And then suddenly he discovered he had been adopted. They designed his bag with magic. Designed it, okay, they redesigned it because God had designed it that condition. So they had to redesign it. His bag was lacerated all over. And they began to demand ransom from the parents. At last they had to pay some money for him to be released. Certain things you do are predisposing you to some unsafety conditions that may have their consequences. The other day, a girl called my number very early in the morning, and I said, "What is it?" He said, "Some people." I just woke up and I discovered that my phone is lost. My computer is lost. I said, "What happened? How did they get lost? Did you close your door? Did you lock your door?" She said, "No. Somebody goes to bed with her door open and does not expect that an armed robber will come in, or a robber at least will come in and pick properties." You see, some of you are so naive when it comes to safety. You go to bed, your doors are open, your windows are wide open, everything is open, and you expect that your property will be secure. Sometime again at Agolo hostel, I got a call that somebody woke up and discovered somebody entered the hostel and picked all their phones. All these Android phones are things they go for quite easily. And then when somebody came out that night, he saw a young man, and then when she made noise, the young man ran. I asked the question again. I said, "Did you people lock your hostel?" He said, "No. The hostel gate was open, and your private doors, your rooms were open. So what do you expect? The thief will come." Are we together? So when we talk safety, safety is what everybody must have to walk hand in hand. Because sometimes we think that safety should be the duty of the government or the law enforcement agents to provide. Sometimes we say it is the school management only that does it. No. You too, you have a role to play. So in talking about safety, there are general safety. There are issues that bother general safety. That is where the government comes in, that is where the management comes in. But there is personal safety. That is why in engineering we put on what we call PPE, personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment. And all that is to safeguard you. Now I think we lack a culture of safety in Nigeria generally. Let me ask this question. Why do Nigerians put up safety belts when they're driving? Who can answer me? Why do Nigerians generally put on safety belt? You know safety belt? The seat belt. Why do they put on safety belt? No, I want the students to answer. Yes. The students, please. Yes. Are you a student? Are you sure you're a student? What level? 400, 500. You're off. I want you want to. Okay. Aha. University High School. Anybody? You know why Nigerians put on safety belt while driving? Anybody who has idea? Okay. Let me. Okay, I think you are.
Well, the main reason of that
I didn't ask you the reason. So, That is how you fail exam. You answer the one they ask you, and you answer the one they didn't ask you. I say, why do Nigerians put on safety belt? And you got it, the first one. It's because of road safety people, so that they don't get arrested. That's the truth. Remove road safety from the road. Everybody will drive without the safety belt. That's secret. That tells us to the level where we have safety consciousness. We must begin to live with a consciousness of safety. Very important. We don't have it. And I think this is part of the reason why UNICEF is bringing this to us. So that we imbibe the culture of safety consciousness. There are things you can do, I would do, for my own safety and for the safety of those around me. Because oftentimes what I do without recourse and regard to safety can affect others, not just me. Not just me. If I drive recklessly, just like we have seen, I and Frank Collins who have been apostles of this. Last time, some students graduated, and the best way to celebrate graduation was to drink and then enter their vehicles somewhere in the boots with the doors open, hanging, and driving recklessly through the university environment. And then some decided to mess up the environment too. And for that reason, about 4 departments have been sanctioned, and they're going to pay fine before they can graduate. And I think that is to send a very strong warning to everybody. When you graduate, please, graduation should not drive us to insanity and take away every sense of safety and decorum. In other climes, graduations are celebrated as an intellectual activity, not a motor park sense of activity. Okay, because of time, I want to round enough. The role of security agencies and government. Let me quickly assert that my position about a lot of safety problems we have in Nigeria, insecurity, also especially that we have in Nigeria, what culminated to the abduction of the Chibok girls, school girls, and has also created a breeding ground for a whole lot of other abductions and series of abductions that have continued, is because there is leadership deficit. Leadership deficit is a problem. I believe that if Nigeria fixes leadership, a whole lot of these problems would have been solved. It's not that we don't know what to do, but to do what is right is our problem and difficulty. Leadership must be fixed if insecurity will be fixed. And so government has a role to play. The security agencies, they have a role to play. I believe that if schools are more secure, security agencies are deployed to schools and to those areas where there are vulnerable people. And of course, schools are a soft target. Schools are a soft target for activities like this. Very soft target. If these areas that are vulnerable are secured, we'll have less and less of such incidences. The role of the school management is also important, and I think our next speaker will be handling that and bring more light. Prof, you'll be doing justice to that. But in a nutshell, I want to say that the school has been doing a lot. The chief safety officer knows how much has been committed to issues of safety here. At the time, it became a nightmare that every night incidences happen at if it's access here. and I sleep with one eye open because obviously 12 midnight, 2 a.m. my phone will ring. Things are happening, and everybody is, really rattled. Sometimes we had to engage the services of some security agencies and all that. We know about Blue Shield that was drafted in sometime into the university department and all of that. And all these things cost money. Let me say at this juncture that safety costs money. But there is no amount of money that is invested in safety that will be said to be an overkill. We must all pull our strengths together to make our environment a safe place and make our university safe enough. If I do my part, the university does its own part. Every one of us does his own part. This place will be a safe environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our own dear Dean Student Affairs. I hope you know that he's your father here. Whatever problem, whatever challenge you have, if your head of department cannot solve it for you, run to him. I want to believe that his ears are open. And like he said just now, he sleeps with one eye open, knowing that his phone will ring. So that when the phone rings, he will pick. He will pick. He's ever ready to pick your call. So let him know your plan. But he said something vital that we must take away. What is that? That safety is everyone's business. It's not just for the government. It's not just for the school management. It's not just for the CSOs, that is civil society organizations who are championing the cause of safety in our schools. It's for all of us, everyone, you and I. Like the simple act of closing your doors. You safeguard yourself when your doors are closed. And if an intruder wants to come in, it will be difficult for him or her. But when the doors are open, they will just come in anyhow, with ease. So do your part, and then all other persons, doors is bad, and we'll have a safer environment. Thank you so much, Professor Chinonso Achebe, for all that you have shared with the students. And I'm happy that the students are putting down something. They are putting down something. You know, there will be a time you will sit together in your panels and share ideas, share experiences, and we'll hear your own voices. So, just keep on listening with rapt attention. I want to call on the next resource person here, who is going to talk to us on the role of government and school management in ensuring a safe space for our students. And who is going to do that? That professor, that dean, that does ordinary things in extraordinary ways. Professor Franklin Okafo, my own dean, please come and tell us how we can extraordinarily manage safety issues on campus.
Thank you, Dr. Anjide. I'm not surprised. You started it all from their days in the ABS. Thank you very much. Our distinguished members of the high table, and of course, in a special way, the rep of UNICEF, our dear CSO here present, dear professors, dear colleagues, my fellow students. I wish to start by thanking the organizers of this program for coming up with a program like this. And at a time like this, when our nation is in confusion, in total chaos, as a result of the security challenges we have, especially with the adoption of our school children. My topic is very simple. It says the role of government, just excuse me, please.
Just in front of you, Eva. Thank you.
So my time starts now. So it is on the role of government and school management in creating a safe space for students in our schools. So this is a very topical title, going by what we have today in our country. And I want to start by doing what I call conceptualization. What's the meaning of school management? Because if we don't understand some of these variables, it will be difficult for us to understand the logic or the discussion, as the case may be. School management has to do, or it's a concept involving all the processes through which resources are mobilized in educational institutions to accomplish desirable educational goals. It requires expertise and training in educational principles and practices, in ensuring proper management of schools' general activities for achieving results in education. So when you look at this definition or conceptualization of school management, you discover that a number of variables were mentioned. For instance, that there is what we call resource or resources, depending, which must be mobilized. And then to accomplish desirable educational goals, that is to say that there must be goals, at least a goal. And then that it requires expertise and training. That is to say that those that are involved in the management of schools must be experts who must be trained on how to handle the principles and practices in ensuring proper management of schools. And then the last one is achieving results. So these are the key issues within this conceptualization. So and what are we talking about? We are talking about a safe school or safe space. And then in understanding safe space and safe school, we say that it is a place or environment in which a person or category of people can feel confident that they will not be exposed to discrimination, criticism, harassment, or any other emotional or physical harm. So you see that when you talk about safe space and safe school, we are talking about first of an environment, and then the disposition of the person that is within that environment, where the person will feel free, person, not be harassed or discriminated against by anything or by any other means, emotionally or physically. So, that is why some few years ago, a number of countries have to come together, led by Brazil and others, to talk about what they call the Safe School Declaration. Safe School Declaration. And what do they mean by that? I just did a kind of summary of what a safe school should be. 1. Where every boy or girl has the right to an education without fear of violence or attack. Without fear of what? Violence or attack. 2. Where every teacher, professor, and school administrator should be able to teach and research in conditions of safety, security, and dignity. You see now, in an environment of what? Safety, security, and what? Dignity. 3 cardinal issues. The third one is where every school should be a protected space for students to learn and fulfill their potentials, even during war. Even during war, schools are protected, are supposed to be protected, are supposed to be safe. And that is why, for those of you that fought the Civil War with us, you know I was a small captain that time. You see, you discover that most families were moved to schools, isn't it? For those of you that have been reading history, in Oka here, St. Paul was used. Most people were moved to St. Paul. Where you have now the St. Paul, what do you have there? Paul University. So most Oka people were moved to that place. The same with other places. And it was expected at that time that bombs should not be dropped in such places. And finally, it is a place where every university shall be a safe place for students and academics, and to foster critical and independent thinking, and to harness knowledge. So, but here in Nigeria, it is a pity that our schools are no longer safe. Every day we talk about kidnappings and invasions, harassments of our students. And incidentally, it seems that the government is there looking hand akimbo, watching with reckless abandon as some of these things are happening. To the extent that till 2024 to 2024, over 1,600 students have been kidnapped. Few number of them have been killed. And the thing has even expanded to the extent that it is not only students that are now kidnapped. The teachers are also involved. You remember the case we had in Kaduna and other places. And incidentally, some of the teachers were even killed. You know, that is the extent of where we are. And then we begin to ask ourselves, why is it that this issue is increasing these days? Why is it so attractive? Why is it so attractive? It is so attractive because schools are poorly secured in Nigeria. Schools are poorly secured in Nigeria. You come to schools, you don't have any viable security network in the schools. Move to our secondary schools, some don't even have any security man or woman around. So they are just there. And even those they have in some of the schools, the few that have, you discover that they have only old men, true or false. Remember their secondary schools are primary. Old men, retired men, who cannot even run or catch anybody. And then another attraction there, you know, when there is a kind of a good environment for crime, crime will always thrive. When you know that you will not be caught, you know, the kidnappers are encouraged to do that. Again, there is no atom of resistance. No atom of resistance on the part of the school management or the school security. None at all. They will just move in, collect the students, and move. And I've been wondering how they do this. You know, kidnapping over 300 students. How do they take them to the forest? Are you there? Just like marching all of us here. I'm going to walk around anyway. Are you there? And people will not see us. People will not suspect anything. They will pass through all the checkpoints. And then they will be distributing pure water and mineral as they are passing, eating bread, and at times singing self, and nothing will happen. I think it is a very, very viable research topic that should be looked into. Again, in the north, we said that the north is under a whip for security due to the size. So it is also another attraction. Then we also have the grievous one, which is little fear of consequences for offenders. Those that have been kidnapping people have never been punished in this country. So if the offenders are not punished, there is always an attraction to engage in that. The lack of willpower to implement school safety measures by the government. Lack of willpower. It is not that the government doesn't know what to do, but the willpower is not there. You remember the last time, the current government, I have to commend the current government, because the current government has taken a number of bold steps, unlike the previous government. For instance, it has been able to list and name terrorist what? Financiers. Those that have been financing terrorism in this country. The government has been able to query for the first time some of those big shots who have been protecting some of the like Sheikh Gumi. For the first time, he was invited by the DSS, isn't it? And query, and some other people that have been arrested for the first time. So the willpower is not there. The lack of security education in schools. We said that we lack that in schools. The schools are not teaching the students what to do in situations of insecurity and other things. So we are saying that it is also part of it. It is also part of the attraction. So once they come, as everybody come this way, everybody, hey, we dey one side. One man is here, and at times we can have one at the able. Before they approach some Makahatch, 1,000 students in a community, they will take all of them with just one machete. It is because the students are not educated enough on the technicalities of safety when it comes to sports. And then we say that government is not proactive. Our government always waits to act after the action has been taken. They will wait for the Chibok girls to be adopted before government will go to search for them. Are you there? They will always wait. No action before their action. So we say that it is also an attraction, it's a problem. So, and then the issue of corruption is there. And the illicit, or I don't know how to describe that, the kind of understanding, in parentheses, compromise within the security forces. That is why they will carry those girls and come to take points. You will see the soldiers waving. They are taking victims, children, and they will be waving at them at the checkpoints as they are moving. That's compromise. Are you there? Hello? So with this background, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we begin now to ask ourselves, what should be the role of government and school management in creating a safe space for schools? So we said that there should be the swift, safe recovery of the kidnapped students. Do you know why we say that? And it is the responsibility of the government to do that. Because the more they stay, those that have been captured, the more they stay, the more comfortable the kidnappers are, and the more comfortable for those that are thinking about, engaging in more kidnapping. It shows that the system is down, that the government cannot do anything. So the government is supposed to act immediately. There is a case of what? Kidnapping. And then rescue safely. We are not talking about rescuing cops. Are you there? We are talking about rescuing human beings that are still alive. That is what we are talking about. Then secondly, still on the part of government, there should be cooperation between the government and other agencies of government in solving the root cause of school kidnapping. What we do is treating the problem at the periphery. We need to go to the
the center of the what? Periphery. The center of the periphery for us to solve the problem. So before, kidnapping was a religious, if you remember when they were kidnapping children in Christian schools, you remember, as a way of trying to stop the propagation of Western education and that. But now, it is pure business. It is pure business. If you do on the Kosa Moto, Kosa Chai, that is how they do kidnapping now. It is pure business. So we must have to look at the root cause. The real pattern kidnapping, what is the cause? What led to it and other things? And you begin to see something like corruption, isn't it? It's so many other things. So government should do well to look at those things, create jobs so that there will be job opportunities for people and other sectors. The provision of security infrastructure in vulnerable schools, such as security forces, surveillance technology, and improved coordination between security forces. So it is no longer business as usual. The schools must be well equipped. Now we have what we call CCTV technology apparatus, which can be mounted in schools for security purposes, and then improve coordination between security forces. We have cases of, kidnap cases, after which the police will come, they will meet the DSS, the DSS will be talking about something else, the police will be asking of other things, then the soldiers will just arrive and start shooting at everybody. You see that there is a kind of disconnection. So we are saying that that must be done. And then, enforcement of existing laws on kidnapping. Enforcement of existing laws on kidnapping. We have laws on kidnapping, but the problem is that they are not enforced. They are not enforced at all by the government. We don't know what is happening. So there should be stricter punishment for offenders. Then I said that there should be special fund for safe schools. You remember when Jonathan was the president, he had what he called Safe School Initiative. And he now endowed $20 million, into that endowment. So that every year, the government will take one project, one security project in the schools across Nigeria. But immediately Jonathan left, nothing has been done. Even the declaration, the Safe School Declaration, also made some provision. Up till now, other nations have domesticated those things, doing those things, even those nations that don't have these cases of kidnapping. But here in Nigeria, where we have the cases, nothing is done. So we are questioning the government and say that special fund for safe schools must be guaranteed. Then we talk about good perimeter fencing, which is very important. Perimeter fencing, almost all the schools now don't have fence. Those that have one, those old ones are no longer existing. Go to the schools. At the Igbekike Grammar School, my alma mater, we have to contribute, to do the fencing now. We are doing the fencing. In most schools, they are very porous. Look at our university here. You can operate. Anyway, let me not say that one. You see? But it is, you see students coming out from different points. And that same way, you see strangers moving in and out of the university, uncontrolled. We say that it is not good. Then access control into and out of the schools is very, very, very important. Then there is what we call security awareness education for staff and students. This is very important. And that is why we commend the current House of Representatives who have come up with a proposal to make security education a compulsory course in all the schools, both secondary schools and the university, compulsory, so that people will know what to do in a situation like that. Remember the case of one school that was invaded in the north recently by the kidnappers. They could not kidnap anybody from that school because the school had strategies. They had told the students what to do in such situations. So we saw the students holding. We don't have projector. I will have shown you a number of, they were holding themselves when we are moving. Simply like that. All of them, once the alarm, ticks, Everybody knows exactly what to do. They have what they call a collection point where everybody must go to. Are you there? So these people were there shooting, go, all of you, go. They didn't even know that the students had already left. You know, they collected themselves in a place. From there, they operated. The people were still waiting for them to come out from the doors. Are you there? So they all escaped, and that was an unsuccessful venture on that, you know. So it should be introduced in the schools, you know. And then school security to be manned by well-equipped and able-bodied men and women. Of course, when they retire, as the wedding security. Only God draws it. I can't make those that are still able. That is why I say, more demand by able-bodied. Unlike, there is one, okay, let me not call school. Here. You know, there is one we have. The person cannot even stand up. He is sick. He can't even stand up. He's a security man. So whenever you want to call him, you have to stand and tell him whatever you want. He will tell you what to do while sitting down. So it is a problem. And then we suggest the wearing of security tags by students. I'm happy that the CSO is here. You know, it is within your jurisdiction, not only to advise the university, to direct at times, because we are talking about safety. This security tags, it is not everywhere. For those of you that have traveled up, there is no institution you come in overseas that you will not wear a tag. But here in Nigeria, everybody can come in and go out like that. Start to, you may insist, you know, at least you start with the staff. You start with the staff. Then this issue of community policing is very, very important. Just 1 minute. Very, very important. You see, some of the recoveries we had of recent, including the one he knows, my in-law and the family that were, you know, recovered the other time from the kidnappers. It was the vigilante people that the police could not do it, the DSS could not do it. It was the vigilante people that went into the forest and caught them red-handed. But it is very, very appalling and disheartening that they were caught red-handed. They even shot, the kidnappers shot somebody. And today, those people are free. They have been released here in Oka. Oka here, people that were caught red-handed. My in-law was involved. They have been released and they are moving. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think that when we are able to do this, we'll have a better list and a better school. The safety of our schools cannot be compromised. The government and school management should do well in providing safe environment in schools for optimal results in the development and the enhancement of human capital in Nigeria. Thank you for listening.
My prof, thank you so much. I know that if time permits, you will go on and on because you have a lot to say, but we don't have all the time. Please, can we just clap our hands once again for him? I'm sure you learned so much. I'm sure you learned so much. And he made it so simple. So simple, so practical. Okay? Particularly, the issue of school management taking safety issues for a ride. Like he pointed out, some schools have very old men manning their gates. What do you expect? What can they do? If there's any incident, what can those old men do? So we can begin to make the changes, the action. Remember they said we are here for action, not just to commemorate the 10th anniversary, but to discuss way forward, to take positive action. One of the actions that must be taken by school management and government is to ensure that we have the right people manning our security points. If I'm not going to look if any I want to see if I have raised you in Igbo language. I'm going to talk here in this sector. I want to see I'm going to The same thing goes. I wouldn't have even security check. They able-bodied men. You understand? I don't know about women or women. Women or gender issues or whatever. Any able, at least they will put up a fight first. Or what did I mean? By the time I'm another drama, they might like a big cover. I will not own the hammer to the one. Now, go, yeah. Already have what they are moving. They have to leave. So let's take more time, let's take more care in safeguarding our school. And there's something else that I want the students to take note of. The speakers have pointed them out, but I just want to remind you again, talking about Safe School Declaration, SSD. Those of you that are taking notes, take that down. It's very important. Prof said that the government of Goodluck Jonathan in 2015 signed that particular agreement among some other countries of the world, the Safe School Declaration, SSD, which is a global intergovernmental political commitment that promotes the safety of schools, safety of school personnel, safety of school structures. Okay? They have done that way back 2015. But I know that one of the speakers will tell us how far so far. Having signed the agreement to do this, okay? Are they doing it? Are they safeguarding our schools? Are our schools safe? We want to know. So that if the right things are not being done, we can begin today to make a change. And then not I'd like to invite the University Chief Safety Officer. We have been corrected today. It's no longer Chief Security Officer because we have been taught. Like I told you when we started, we are going to learn, we are going to unlearn, and we are going to relearn. Okay? So learning today that our CSO is Chief Safety Officer. Okay? So he's going to talk to us on safety tips for students. You need it. Sir, please. Okay. Okay. I'm glad that our number one student is here because he's going to step down this knowledge. Apart from the ones benefiting directly, the SUG president is here in the person of Mr. Izuchukwu Ejike. You're welcome. Capacity SUG president. SUG president, please, from now onwards, whatever our resource persons will say, please, would like more students to hear it. Okay? You step it down. Find a way to ensure that all other presidents of the departments will hear and they will learn. Okay? So let's invite our CSO to talk to us on safety tips for students.
Let me keep the already established protocol for the sake of our time. I will be talking from point of knowledge, that is, being a participant in things that are going on. When these Chibok girls were kidnapped, I want to say that I get to that you have seen sitting here or standing here was instrumental to the release of the 2 batches of Chibok girls. I personally went to Sambisa Forest the first time, brought the first set, wait the second time, brought the second set. Inside Sambisa Forest. And I want to say that even an abstract operation went on. We brought some of the girls already with children. Some of them were pregnant, some came with already young babies. are no longer willing to come back because they have been indoctrinated. They have already brought to their ease of Boko Haram because within the period, because there was no quick intervention, they stayed a long time, so they were able to indoctrinate some of them, and some of them have married in Boko Haram. That even if you give them, free way to come, they're no longer ready to come out. It has been established here, even before the other speakers, that security is the responsibility of everybody. It's not just for security people or safety people. That goes to show that everybody must be very conscious. It's very important. Everybody must be alert, especially at this trying moment. Now, what drives security is intelligence. Some of you call it information, because information is raw, is unprocessed, but when it comes to intelligence, it means it has undergone various processes that makes it almost 100% that what you are sending out is correct. And that is what drives security. And that's why I'm saying that security is business of everybody. No security man is a witch or wizard. They depend on information and intelligence. If you are not trained to fire,